Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Spencer Hughes. I'm the creator and host of this little podcast called Hughes From The Heart. And this one's a free version, so it's a little bit littler than the normal size. Normal size podcasts are about 12, 15 minutes long on average. I know your day is probably just as crazy busy as mine, and you don't have hours and hours on end to consume all the content you want to consume. Back in the day, podcasts were like an hour long, but now with thousands of them out there and so many streaming services of video as well, everyone's competing for your time and attention. And I acknowledge that, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you like what you hear in this mini version, here's all I ask, is that you try out the paid version. It's $1 a month. There's all sorts of tier levels, but it starts at $1 a month for a daily podcast 7 days a week. And your support would mean the world to me. It really would. I'm trying to make this a full-time thing. And with even 2,000 people or so, I should be able to do that. So if you like what you hear and you're into supporting positive vibrations and good energy and positivity out there in this world full of doom and gloom, then please go to patreon.com/Spencer Hughes. Patreon.com/Spencer Hughes. And in the meantime, you can get the free versions on Spreaker, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Patreon as well. Just look for Hughes From The Heart. One thing I've said all along, even from the beginning of this podcast, not quite 2 years ago now, is that we need more outlets out there for good news. And now with the whole coronavirus pandemic, it seems like the doom and gloom is just rampant. It's out of control. You look at pages like Drudge's page, and my goodness, every story except for maybe one or two, and he puts about 100 stories a day up, or whoever owns the site now does that. Maybe 1% of the stories are even remotely positive or even neutral. I'd take neutral at this point. They're 99.99% negative. If you look at that page every day, my goodness, you'll be depressed when you look at the world. So how you consume your media is very, very critical, and mental health experts are agreeing. And that's what the topic of this free podcast is about. This piece comes from greatergood.berkeley.edu, written by Jill Sudi. And it's very, very timely and very, very important. So in this day and age of the pandemic, information is updated every 5 seconds out there. It's not necessarily useful information. A lot of it's just doom and gloom and stats that don't mean anything when taken out of context. But they do get your adrenaline going. They get the cortisol, which is the stress hormone, pumping through you. And it makes you, within minutes, feel really, really down, anxious, and maybe outright depressed. Well, experts agree that taking in constant bad news is not good for you. Look for a longer version of this podcast on my paid content on Hughes From The Heart, but I'm going to keep this one kind of short and to the point. Studies have found that those who read or saw more sensationalist, repetitive news stories experienced acute stress and other symptoms similar to PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and ended up having poorer health up to 3 years later. So the effects are very, very lasting. This is something I've pointed out all along with the whole COVID-19 pandemic. All these articles and websites and talking heads and so-called experts telling us how bad it could be, speculating on how bad it could get. Not the way things are and reporting that, but how they could be if certain models are followed. These are the same models that said that oil would disappear from the face of the earth by the 1970s. The same models that when I was a kid said we were headed into the next ice age, long before global warming talk. So all this big barrage of misinformation can incite fear rather than rational responses to the pandemic. We need to be informed. We need to be smart. We need to wash our hands. We need to be cautious. And yes, we need to socially distance right now. But we can't live terrified of waking up. We can't feel anxious and depressed 24/7 over this. And the mainstream media outlets are doing this to us, and by and large, we are allowing them to do it by staying glued to the Twitter feed, staying glued to the television news, and it is not healthy. These aren't my opinions. These are facts based on science and backed up by the experts. So that's where Hughes From The Heart fits in nicely here. I offer uplifting, solution-based news on coronavirus. And we talk about a whole slew of other things not related to COVID-19. Topics on the podcast include health and wellness, mindfulness, minimalism, the law of attraction, prosperity thinking, the power of the mind, particularly the subconscious mind. And I focus on news stories that focus on good people doing good things in a good world. That's what you'll find on Hughes From The Heart. If that stuff sounds good to you, if it sounds appealing in this sea of doom and gloom reporting, in this 24/7 news cycle of impending doom and death and destruction, then please show your support and sign up today. Super easy. Patreon.com/Spencer Hughes. Get in for $1 a month. That's 3 pennies a day. That's a whole lot of positivity every month for the price of not even one bottle of water. I'm Spencer Hughes. Thanks for listening to this free edition of Hughes From The Heart. I hope you stay safe out there. I hope you stay sane. Keep your head and your spirit high. We got this. We'll get through it. I know it. Deep down, you know it too. Much love to all of you.